One headset, two headsets, three headsets, ha ha ha. It's been less than a month, but Logitech already released another wireless headset. Hi guys, Matthew here and welcome back again to my channel. This is the new G733 wireless gaming headset from Logitech, and right off the bat we have to talk about the elephant in the room, its color, or rather color choices. This is actually a rare occasion where Logitech provided us with a wider color choice within their gaming portfolio, besides the black and white colors, and with the G433 headset being an exception. While this headset comes in black, white, lilac, and this ocean-like blue color that I have here with me today. Even the wireless receiver is color matched. Sweet. Speaking of it, this is the only way of connecting the headphones wirelessly. You won't be able to use it and connect it to a device just over the USB Type-C port on it and the added 2-meter cable without also using the wireless receiver, as that's the only way the headset makes a connection. The cable is only used for charging, but of course you can do both at the same time, use it while also charging it. There is some good news when it comes to connecting. Unlike with the G Pro X Wireless and the G533, the G733 does come with the PlayStation 4 support, while I assume that the PlayStation 5 will also be supported down the line. Enough about that, let's have a look at the headset itself. As you can see, the G733 has that more gamery and playful design approach, with this two-part RGB strip on the front which can be controlled over the G-Hub software, and some curvy lines on the edge where the ear cup meets the ear padding. All of these parts from the 3-year-old G533 model, which I'll be using here as a point of reference and comparison, since they are at this time on par with the price, although that could change on the G533 end. It could be that they won't discontinue it, especially since it has different design language and the 7.1 surround sound, while the new G733 has DTS Headphone X 2.0 sound being delivered by 40mm Pro G drivers, but then again, who knows. Those two are set in these pretty locked-in ear cups, and by that I mean that they have just a little bit of articulation, so it's not super flexible in terms of the adjustment, and they don't pivot like ones on the G533 for example, but the pretty thick cloth ear pads with memory foam compensate that a bit in terms of the comfort. These are your usual interchangeable ones, and they've put left and right signs on them for easier headphone orientation, while I assume they are still washable like ones on the G533. What's also made out of cloth-like material is this colored flexible headband, which acts like a dampening and size adjustment mechanism for your head. You have these tabs on each side onto which this headband latches, and it can go onto two differently positioned cutouts, so you can adjust the pressure or effectively the tallness of the headband in case you have a smaller head. It's rather soft, but it still wraps around your head in a decent fashion. The rest of the headband frame is really flexible, it will make the whole headset move around, but I feel like it's sturdy enough. Overall, the build quality looks to be decent in that regard, although I must admit it doesn't leave you with that premium feel, especially compared to the G Pro X Wireless model, while the G533 supports a similar build quality compared to the G733 in terms of materials used, but it's a bit sturdier than it. In a way, it makes you ask for more since it is completely made out of plastic, mostly using that sort of like textured plastic surface. There are a few smooth glossy spots on the ear cups, especially since it will retail for 150 euros. Then again, I assume they went this route to make the headset as light as possible, which it is, especially compared to the other two, weighing in at just a bit above 280 grams. As for the comfort, since they are that light, which is by the way almost 100 grams lighter than the G Pro X Wireless and 70 grams lighter than the G533, the G733 will go easy on your head on longer sessions. That soft headband also adds to the whole I'm a light headset thing, because it suspends the headset in a way that it makes its wearing more bearable during long runs. The ear pads are big enough so my ear sinks into the surrounding space without touching the inner wall, while they provide pretty decent sound insulation with still being breathable enough, moving the air through so you don't start sweating all up. Logitech again put everything on the left ear cup, starting from the USB Type-C port, infinity volume wheel, power on-off switch, which also acts as a battery level indicator when the headset is turned on. You can change the language of the voice that talks to you too.
Battery fully charged.
Battery fully charged.
Akku vollständig aufgeladen.
Batterie entièrement chargée.
Batería completamente cargada.
배터리 충전이 완료되었습니다.
充電が完了しました.
电池已充满电。
while you turn the headset off with a long press, and last but not the least, a microphone mute switch. Speaking of it, we have a detachable one. It's mostly rubberized, except on the tip end, but you can adjust it fairly easy. It is too accompanied by the Blue Voice feature, which is also found in their G Pro X wireless and wired models, but not in the G533. You'll again have an option to control how the microphone actually performs in Logitech G Hub software utility with enabling the Blue Voice feature and using its different preset profiles, or making a completely custom setup based on different settings, from changing the voice EQ, high pass filter, compressor and so on. With the G733 I found these settings shown here on the screen optimal, feel free to use them, and here is how that sounds alongside of the G533 and G Pro X wireless microphones. This is the G733 and its mic, and this is a custom-made profile which I've shown just a few seconds ago. Feel free to leave me your comments down below. What do you think about its performance? Is it any good, having in mind that this is a wireless microphone? These are the G533s. Its microphone is okay, but I think it falls behind the G733s. The thing is that you basically don't have any options to control microphone sound profile, so compared to the other two models which have the Blue Voice feature, it's really hard for you to get on their level. On the other hand, the G533 does have a noise cancellation feature, so it gets some advantage in that regard. This is the microphone from the G Pro X wireless. Some of you probably already saw my review of this headset not so long ago. For me, it's one of the better wireless headset microphones, but take that with a grain of salt because I haven't tried all the newer wireless headsets from other brands. And here I am back with the G733 and its mic. Is it the best ever? No, it's not, but just as with the G Pro X wireless, it is good if you consider that this is a wireless headset, and I'm glad to see that it doesn't underperform greatly, since it is a cheaper price segment in question. Sticking with the topic of wireless, as it uses the same Lightspeed technology and 2.4 GHz band, I had the same experience as with the G Pro X wireless, could roam around my 90 square meter flat without any hiccups whatsoever. So no drops, zero subjective audio lag, that something was maybe out of sync or off, nothing like that, everything was on the spot here. Where the G733 took off compared to the G Pro X wireless, and especially G533, is the battery life. With the RGBs off you can get around 30 hours without charging, while with them being turned on it cuts down to anywhere from 20 to 25 hours. In my example and my use case, I easily managed to get well over 25 hours of use, so yeah, that's one of the higher numbers out there, except for the Sennheiser's GSP370, which is in a completely different class. Of course, all of this can vary depending on the way you use the headphones, how often is the microphone being used, level of loudness, but still, it's a very decent jump compared to the aforementioned duo. Speaking of the sound and loudness, you are all probably wondering how does this headset actually sound. As I mentioned at the beginning, the G733 uses the Pro G 40mm drivers, same as the G533, but the specs are a bit different, with higher impedance and lower sensitivity. In the direct back-to-back comparison, the G733 seems to have a more clear sound, but they could both hit some thick bass lines, while it falls just a bit behind the G Pro X wireless model, although I was really surprised how it and the G733 are pretty close to each other sound quality wise. Overall, they do have an above average soundstage representation, having in mind that this is a wireless headset before all, but it again lacks in the loudness department, although it gets louder than the G533. The regular stereo sound is more than suitable for any type of game. I could position myself and others easily in game, and honestly I'm good with just having it, knowing how underwhelming is the surround sound option on the G Pro X wireless and the G533, and the same goes for the DTS Headphone X 2.0 surround sound feature on the G733. I must admit that although the G533 suits me better design and adjustability wise, for the same price the G733 takes the cake on account of a better mic and a bit better sound, longer battery, different color choices, and PlayStation support, which will most certainly be cherished by a lot of users, no doubt about it. I even don't see a big need to go for the G Pro X wireless model. Yes, it is overall a bit better, but I would probably put that price difference somewhere else. That's it for this time for me. Thank you once again for watching. Please take a second to toss me a thumbs up if you enjoyed my content. That really helps a lot. And if you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe, and if you already are, be sure to press that notification bell down below so you don't miss out on a new video. And until then, catch you later guys.